right, here we are, quarter 3, week 6, day 2. Find the quotient. And they always, almost always, give us a division problem. So if it wasn't division, we would just multiply straight across. No keep, change, flip. But we have to do that in this one. We have 4/5, so we have 4 over 5. Instead of division, we're going to change that to a multiplication. And instead of 3 over 7, it's going to be 7 over 3. All right. Can we do any cross reducing? Well, there's nothing we can divide into 3 and 4 to simplify that, or 5 and 7. So we're just going to have to multiply across now. 7 times 4 is 28. 5 times 3 is 15. That is an improper fraction. How many times does 15 go into 28 without going over? Well, 15 can go into it once. Twice would be 30, so only one time. So 15 goes into 28 one time. So we've used up 15 of the 28. So we're going to subtract 28 minus 15, and that's going to be 13 over 15. So there's our answer. 1 and 13/15 is the answer to 4/5 divided by 3/7. The ratio of plates. So first is plates to napkins. So napkins is second is 3 to 12. So basically it's 3 plates for every 12 napkins. All right, I guess that's good if you're a messy eater. Maybe it's a barbecue eating contest. I don't know. But it says write the ratio in simplest form. Okay, well, is there a number that divides into both 3 and 12? Yeah, 3 does. 3 goes into 12, or 3 goes into 3 one time. And then we do 12 divided by 3, and that is 4. Is there any number we can divide into those to make them even lower? No, especially since one of them is the number 1. That is definitely going to be simplest form. Evaluate the expression. All right, looks like a lot of work to do, but it doesn't take that long. Right over here we have PEMDAS. Remember, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. That's the order that we're supposed to do it in. Multiplication and division is a group. Addition and subtraction is a group. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead and do it. Well, do we have any parentheses, first of all? Yes, we do. We have them right here. All right, so inside the parentheses, we have to follow order of operations. Well, there is multiplication, and we have to do that before we can do any subtraction. So let's do it. 36 times 8 equals 288. So this is 288 right here, minus 204. All right, so we can subtract 288 minus 204. All right, so 8 minus 4 is 4. 8 minus 0 is 0, or 8. 2 minus 2, okay, so it's 84. So this whole thing here is 84. So let's rewrite this. We have 8 plus 84 divided by 6. Okay, so this is a little bit tricky because we have to do order of operations. So the first thing you kind of want to probably do is this one, right? Because you like to go from left to right, just like you're reading. Well, if we're following PEMDAS, we have to do the division first. So we're going to have to do that. So we're going to have to do 84 divided by 6. And it happens to be that 6 goes into 84 14 times. So now we're left with 8 plus 14. So if we have 14 plus 8, that gives us 22. Okay, so we just have to be a little bit careful with this and follow the order of operations. And if we do, the answer will be 22, and that would be your correct answer. All right, so now we are going to solve for n. Okay, so we have 14n right next to each other. That means we are multiplying. Remember, to solve for a variable, we always solve by doing the opposite operation of what's going on. So since this is multiplication, okay, we are going to solve it by doing division. So we're going to divide both sides by 14. The reason why we do that is because 14 goes into 14 one time. So we are now left with 1n. You could place a 1 in front of the n, but that would still just make it 1n. So let's just write down 1n instead. And then we got to do 70 divided by 14. How many times does 14 go into 70? And I wonder if it even goes in evenly. Well, yeah, it does. So if we do 14 times 5, 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 more is 70. So there we go. So n equals 5. So 14 times 5 equals 70. So n equals 5, and that's how we solve for it. Okay, so we're going to find the area, okay, which means we're going to find in millimeters squared. If it was asking for volume, that'd be millimeters cubed, but it's finding the area. Well, we don't really have a formula to find the area of kind of a sideways L, or whatever you want to call this, but we can find the area of maybe this shape and this shape. Okay, we could do that. Or we can slice it this direction and find the area of this shape and this shape. Okay, so really we just have to decide which one we want to do. So, I don't know, I like to just kind of slice it that way, which means the easy one to find is going to be this one. Okay, because we have both dimensions. We have 32 and we have a 15. 32 times 15 is 480 millimeters squared. Okay, so now we have to find this one. Well, we have 13, but we don't know what this is exactly. We know from here to here is 26. But we know that this much of it over here is 15. So if we do 26 minus 15, that's going to give us 11. So we have 11 left over right there. So this would be 11 millimeters. So this is 15, this is 11. That would be a combination of this whole distance of 26. All right, so then we just have to find the area of the top, which is 13 times 11, which is 143. So in here is 143 millimeters squared. So to find the area, excuse me, of the whole thing, we're just going to do 480 plus 143, and the final or the total answer is 623 millimeters squared. Randy has a box of baseball cards. It is 8.5 inches long, 5 inches wide, and 3¼ inches high. So I went ahead and drew a representation of that. And we want to know what is the volume of the baseball card box. Volume is length times width times height. So we're going to have to write that out. So length times width times height is going to be 8.5 by 5 by 3¼ All right. So once again, we're going to have to change these into improper fractions. So to do that, we do 8 times 2, which is 16, plus 1 more is 17. So that becomes 17 over 2. Should have done this a little bit higher, but there we go. 17 over 2. 5 just becomes 5 over 1. And then 3¼ 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 more is 13. So we have 13 over 4. Can we do any cross reducing? Let's see, 13 and 1, 5 and 2, 17 and 4. Not really. So we're just going to have to multiply across the top. 17 times 5 equals 85. 85 times 13 equals 1,105. 1,105. That's the numerator. The denominator is going to be pretty easy. That's just 2 times 4, which is 8. So, how many times would 8 go into 1,105? Well, we're going to have to just divide it, and the answer is 138 times. All right, so 138 times 8 is actually 1004. So if we used up 1004 of 1005, how much is left over? There's just 1 left over out of 8. So it's going to be 138 and 1/8. And then what is the units that we're talking about here? Inches. So it's going to be inches, and we are talking about volume. So is it inches squared or inches cubed? Yes, since it's volume, it is inches cubed. So there's your answer, 138 and 1/8 inches cubed. Find the surface area. We're not finding the volume, so we're not doing length times width times height. We are finding the surface area, which means we are finding the area of the front, the back, the top, the bottom, and each one of the sides. Okay, so to find the surface area of the front, it's going to be 12 by 8. So what is 12 times 8? Well, that's 96. We're going to write that down twice because that would be 96 inches squared for the front and 96 inches squared for the back. All right, so let's find the sides. The sides are 5 by 8. 5 times 8 is 40. Going to write that down twice. One for the right side, one for the left side. Okay, so now we just need to do the top and the bottom, and that's 5 by 12. Okay, so 12 times 5 is 60. I'm going to write that down twice because that's the top and that's the bottom. So now we have found the front, the back, the side, the top and the bottom. We have found all 6 sides of this rectangular prism. So let's just add them up. All right, so we have 6 and 6 is 12, and then there's a bunch of zeros. So we put a 2 here, a 1 here. So we have, let's see, 6 and 4 is 10. This is 10. So that's 20 so far. 9 and 1 is 30, plus 9 is 39. So 392 inches squared. So the surface area for this rectangular prism is 392 inches squared. Okay, and once again, it would just be 1 inch by 1 inch squares, okay, all over this box, right? So there's our answer for that one. It is 392 inches squared. Circle the statistical question. All right, so statistical means it has variance. It has lots of different possibilities, not just one. So it says, how much does my teacher make each year? Let's change it to this year because I think that's kind of what was trying to be asked. So how much does a teacher make this year? Well, is that going to be a bunch of different numbers, or at the end of the year, is that one teacher going to make a certain amount of money? Well, it's just going to be one teacher. They make a certain amount of money. That would just be one answer, so that would not be a statistical question. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Do I weigh more than my best friend? Well, you know, you have your best friend, you have that person that they're talking about, and that is just one answer. It's just either a yes or a no. So that's not going to be it. Okay, it says, how about what age people watch? Okay, so basically, what is the age of people that watch American Idol? So is American Idol watched by only 18-year-olds? Just 18-year-olds, that's it. No, it's actually watched by people who are very young and very old and everything in between, right? So yeah, that would be a statistical question. Okay, so you're going to have a lot of different variation in that one. And then, do cats run faster than dogs? Does every single cat run faster than a dog? Or does every single dog run faster than a cat? No. Sometimes the cat is going to run faster. Sometimes the dog is going to run faster, depending on whether it's the cat or the dog. So since that's going to be a variation of answers, okay, you're only going to have 2 possibilities, but it's not always going to be the cat, and it's not always going to be the dog, then that would be a statistical question. So anytime you have an answer that has at least 2 options or many, many options, those are statistical questions.